Science fiction isn't just about aliens and lasers, it's about people, choices, and what makes us human. Welcome to Sci Fi for Everyone, where we make speculative stories real, and you don't need a PhD in astrophysics or a decoder ring to enjoy a damn good sci fi story. Today, we're reviewing Stormblood by Jeremy Szal, a debut space opera that blends high octane action with deeply personal stakes. It's bold, emotional, sometimes a bit messy, just like its main character. It punches as hard as it bleeds, and oh boy, does it bleed. So here's the premise. Stormblood is set in a sprawling, multi-planetary world where an alien substance called Stormtech, harvested from a now extinct species, is used to create super soldiers known as Reapers. These soldiers become addicted to the very substance that gives them their strength. Our protagonist, Vakov Fukasawa, is a former Reaper, uh, haunted by his past and drawn into a deadly conspiracy involving the same alien drug that nearly destroyed him. It's a fascinating premise, one that cleverly mixes the physical dangers of war with the psychological aftermath. Think biotech addiction meets post traumatic brotherhood. There's a lot here about memory, loyalty, and the long shadow of violence. It's got all the elements of a great Friday night: explosions, conspiracies, alien drugs, brotherly betrayal, and the kind of therapy session that ends with a plasma rifle. You might be thinking, drugs made of alien DNA, sentient spaceship cities. Are we going full space nonsense here? Don't worry, Sal doesn't drop you into the deep end without floaties. So, what works? Sal excels at creating texture. The world of Stormblood feels grimy and lived in like the best corners of Blade Runner or Mass Effect. His writing has a pulpy energy that works well in the action scenes. Explosions are vivid, the fights are brutal, and the emotional moments hit with surprising force. But what makes the book truly resonate is its emotional core. Vakov is more than a trigger happy soldier. He's broken, vulnerable, still trying to understand what it means to be human again. That depth gives the story a weight that many action heavy sci fi novels lack. Underneath all the grit, Stormblood is actually a story about brotherhood, trauma, loyalty, and healing. The kind of themes that hit hard no matter what galaxy you're in. You don't have to be a sci fi junkie to feel that. That said, Stormblood isn't without issues. The pacing is a bit uneven. It starts strong, slows down in the middle, cranks back up towards the end. The world building, while it's rich, sometimes delivered in dense info dumps that can bog down the narrative, especially for readers new to sci fi. There are moments where the prose leans a little too hard into melodrama, especially in Vakov's internal monologues, and sometimes secondary characters blur together or they don't get the development that they deserve. Dialogue can also feel a little overwrought, as if every conversation is trying a bit too hard to be meaningful. These flaws don't break the book, but they do occasionally pull you out of what is otherwise an immersive experience. So, if you're someone who loves the emotional arc of The Expanse, the gritty aesthetics of Cyberpunk 2077, and the raw moral questions of Altered Carbon, Stormblood is likely to hit home. So, Stormblood is for you if you like sci fi with heart, action with consequences, and morally grey characters who make very bad life choices, but you root for them anyway. But even if you're not a hardcore sci fi reader, this is still very accessible as long as you're okay with a little narrative chaos and some high concept world building that doesn't always pause to explain itself. So, how difficult is it to read for a sci fi newbie? I rate this as a 2 on my 4 tier book difficulty rating, so breaking a light sweat. If you're new to sci fi, you'll be fine. You might have to reread a sentence or look up a word or two, but you'll love the action sequences and the rich texture of the world it is set in. It is not for you if you're looking for a quiet, contemplative novel about tea ceremonies on the moon. This is a space rave in a war zone. Final verdict. Stormblood is a bold, bruising debut. It's not perfect. The pacing and prose could have used another pass, but its heart is in the right place. And that heart's beating fast with a lot of adrenaline and a surprising amount of sorrow. Bottom line, Stormblood is brutal, kinetic, and surprisingly moving, like someone punched you in the chest and then gave you a hug. Zal is clearly a voice to watch in the new wave of character driven sci fi. If you like your stories messy, emotional, and a bit explosive, this is worth your time. So, Stormblood is the first book in Zal's The Common Saga series. The second book, Blind Space, was published in 2021. And the third, Wolfskin, followed this year. If you enjoy Stormblood, make sure you look up the other two. Have you read Stormblood? Or are you curious about stories that mix trauma, tech, and action in a big wild galaxy? Let me know in the comments. And if you're looking for more reviews that unpack sci fi without gatekeeping, hit subscribe because this is sci fi for everyone, and that means you.